Hello there everyone, or welcome back to the channel. You are watching Wise and Trust Building. My name is Jacob, and after the delay, I am so sorry for that. We are going to build a new home for the Archaeopteryx in Prehistoric Kingdom. And the main idea is that there won't be just one of those cages for the Archaeopteryx. There will be multiple, and they will be spread throughout three smaller, maybe not smaller, big aviaries that will be connected with tight path for the guests and the Archaeopteryx to roam. So everyone will be happy, both guests and the animals. But starting the speed build, you can see me adding those metal pillars and building the main puzzle actually for the aviary, because that's the way that I was building the entire project, maybe not including the entrance building, but that's the other story. Because actually building a dome, especially domes and other big projects, just like there was Spinosaurus Care Center, I use lots of puzzles and I was storing them somewhere in so-called junkyard, so actually there was the place for them to be settled so I can actually go and grab them at any time possible. And I was just adding them and adding smaller adjustments, which is much better and faster than doing those big pieces that can be placed only in one thing, that are only for one place and you cannot use them any other, and you have to start everything from the start, actually from the zero and from the drawing board. And now you can see me making those adjustments to create this flexible puzzle to build the aviary, which turned out really well. You can see it over here. There is only one drawback actually over here, because you can see that it's not perfectly aligning, so I had to do some adjusting, and I think that maybe because of the pressure of time I did something which wasn't really good. Maybe because, just like I said, it was time, but yeah, I had another idea in my mind. You can see that everything is something like triangular, but this piece in particular, those two puzzles will be square, which doesn't look as good, but I think that I justify that well. Build later in the speed build, you can see that I built there the evacuation doors at the both sides, so actually there is something we can say that this particular part of the aviary should be reinforced in the case of the fire of other catastrophes that could happen, so the guests can actually escape from the aviary and the part where are those doors are not collapsing. And yeah, probably maybe it's not the best, but that's the idea that I came up with, and I think it works well for this particular example. And again, you can see me build loads of those puzzles to build this aviary and storing them somewhere in the so-called junkyard. So actually I can go there, save them as prefabs and use other builds, or use in this build again, or use them to something different, so I don't have to build the same thing over and over again. And yeah, so that's actually really good. I really recommend you doing that, because that saves you so much time and it makes the entire building in both Prehistoric Kingdom, Planet Zoo, or if you are playing Planet Coaster on other games where there are those building systems, it makes you are more efficient actually while building them. And yeah, we have our aviary, small adjusting, and now I'm building the base for the entire project. There will be again three aviaries with some of these little exhibits each, and there will be the entrance building where the guests will come in, and it all turned out really nice actually. But we are still on the drawing board again, and now I'm building the main entrance, which actually is both pretty simple, and again it's really could be just a little bit important for me, because building that thing, which is actually really simple, actually reminded me of the old times when I was starting the Prehistoric Kingdom or the other games, just like Planet Zoo, and my buildings was like, they didn't look good, but I did my best for my starting, when I was starting for the beginning to be the best. And of course now I have just a little bit more skill. You can judge that in the comments. You can tell anything about this build. I'm really looking forward to your opinions always. But still, yeah, that will do all for this building system came back for me by building this whole building. And yeah, just like now, I also came up with something new. I added those walls that are actually from the arid theme from the game, but I recolored them so it looks like more, I don't know, more European, more American. So it looks just a little bit different because I love this texture because it's so flexible and can be used to many projects actually. You can do with it both. I don't know, something a zoo in an Arabic country or somewhere in US, Europe, or probably I don't know if was that, but in Barcelona, Spain, there was buildings that had this kind of texture. But I cannot remember right now. I think that I have seen something similar somewhere, and probably that was Barcelona. But Google that. Google everything, check out everything somebody tells you in the internet because that's maybe not life saving, but that actually knowledge saving. Oh, that's the way I I would like to call it. And again, I added those pillars to this very simple but beautiful building, and I added doors that came up really well actually, and I'm very proud of them because that's something new. Because I firstly wanted to go with, okay, we have big doors and we are going over the top of it. But again, I thought that these are aviaries with only Archaeopteryx in it. If it could be Tyrannosaurus Rex, of course, that would be cool. But that's only Archaeopteryx, so you don't have to go over the top with that animal. Even not talk, of course, it's beautiful animal and it deserves a lot, but you don't have to do these big doors. So I came up with these small ones, with this actually, let's say, modern approach. So sorry for that because I don't know much about the architecture. You know that professional call how professionally something would be called, etc. I'm just building in Prehistoric Kingdom. That's my hobby. I like it, and yeah, I came up with those doors, and I'm really happy with them. And I also added this sign, which for now it have a mistake. Maybe this has it's not have it has a mistake. It calls Archaeopteryx, but there is no A after H, so that's the mistake. I'm so sorry for that, and it will be reworked soon. Probably I made that because actually in English you can say that was Archaeopteryx, and in Polish we can say like Archaeopteryx. Yes, that's the Polish pronunciation of that animal. And you cannot hear the A, so yeah, I thought that in English that's the same, but actually probably is the way that because that's the Latin name, and actually in the Latin language the pair of A and E you read only like E. You don't say this A. Or is it? I don't remember right now, but you would say or E or A instead. But I think it was E. I don't know, but that's for me. I'm Polish. For you could be A. Google that if you are English speaker, of course, because I don't know that. I know only for my mother tongue. Yes, I started adding those net pieces so guests could be walking around here, and actually Archaeopteryx won't escape and also can actually go all around of those aviaries, because that's also the idea that the Archaeopteryx could go from the one aviary to another through those tunnels. Of course, that could be actually, it should be actually safe, because I think that there are lots of those aviaries where big birds are housed, and actually the Archaeopteryx is of a size of a chicken. And if there could be those guards, these park staff that will be guarding the animals, I guess it will be all right. And I think that the idea could be good. Of course, there will be some to block the Archaeopteryx from going out, but it will be built later in the speed build. And actually, I would like to say why I chose the Archaeopteryx, because actually I would say that there wasn't any very specific factor which decided that yeah, this time I will be building for Archaeopteryx, because I was looking for the idea for the video, and I will say that I wasn't motivated and I had the idea for a long time. And then I remembered that for a long time in the Prehistoric Kingdom, even before starting the channel, I wanted to build something like aviaries, like for our flying species. in the small exhibits, especially after seeing that this exhibit could be made invisible in the net. And I was in the love with this idea. I even built something really fast, but it wasn't beautiful because it was built about in, I don't know, half an hour. And for the comparison, this entire build took like 4.5 hours. So that's the gap of the time. So you have to be mindful of. And yeah, actually, I thought that yes, I will go with the Archaeopteryx, and the main factor was that this species is really important for the paleontology, being the this flying dinosaur with feathers, and actually that was really important. Something this species that connects the dinosaurs, the non-avian dinosaurs, and the avian dinosaurs, which is of course really important. I wanted to adjust that in this particular bit, but of course it could be used for the Microraptor, and of course Microraptor, I think being from China, it could be also themed because lots of people actually really like the the Far East theming or from the Japan or from the China, so it could be more suitable there. I went forward with the Archaeopteryx because of its importance of the paleontology. Of course, Microraptor also is very important, but for me it was always the Archaeopteryx that was thought to be that discovery, and you could see me actually repair that mistake over there. And you could also see that I built this net formation, again another puzzle to adjust that I added to every single aviary, so the entrances are covered up. And over here again I added this concrete floor, so you won't fall back on the dirt while going up or down. And actually, yeah, I think that it would be a cool idea just to make the terrain not more traversable. And over here you can see me building the evacuation doors, which the build was very simple. Again, just like always, adding loads and loads of those metal pieces, which are actually the 4 meter metal beam is actually, I think, the most used piece in the entire game, because I use it actually in every single build because it's so useful, especially with this resize tool. You can actually build lots of stuff with just one piece thanks to that, because it's so flexible, it is recoverable, etc. I love it. And over here you can see me making some adjustments for the evacuation doors, and that also will be the another panel that will be copied around all of those aviaries. Again, you can see me that I copy that, place that over here, so I don't have to make loads of adjustments anytime that I want to put it somewhere. And yes, shortly coming to another position of our build. And yeah, now I'm adding those cages for the Archaeopteryx, and then started adding the animals in. There are 5 females and 5 males each, and they can vary in color. And actually, I get the idea, because surely you have seen the last developer diary of the Prehistoric Kingdom, which is just incredible. And I personally cannot wait for the update 13, mostly because of the babies, and also for the first person mode, because that will be huge for the tours in this game, and it will be much better. Anytime I will do the mini tour at the end of every single smaller speed build episode, or the tour of the project actually in the future, because that surely will come someday. And yes, started actually that will be really interesting. Also, we are getting, maybe not in update for 13, not 13, 14. We are getting the in the future we are getting the another animals for the small exhibits. And actually, I'm really curious how again it will be working, because that's only the idea, mostly the idea for now. And we are going also to get the Compsognathus and the Tiktaalik. I think that I pronounced that one well, because actually I don't know so much about that species, how to pronounce it, because I don't hear about it very often, so sorry for my pronunciation. And actually, it could be really interesting, like building those, I know, something like reptile houses or the bird houses could be actually really interesting to build in the future, something like I did here, but for all of those species that are available in those mini exhibits. Yeah, that could be incredible. But that's for the future. That's for the future when this game will be even more incredible than it is now. And speaking of being incredible, this new grass that was added with the update for the temperate biome is incredible. Like it makes the grass in the game look actually the surface look more natural, more lush, more green. I love it, and I really missed after using the buffalo grass in Planet Zoo, I really missed that kind of piece in Prehistoric Kingdom, but we have it over here. And also, I made really interesting discovery because if you know Prehistoric Kingdom, or if you watch the Cat Mary, no, that was Crazy Cat Mary. I think that pronounced that well. So again, so sorry for that. She posted a video with the tutorial how to actually play around with this terrain terrain brushes in Prehistoric Kingdom, and she said a lot of interesting and useful facts about the terrain painting, how they work, and how to build beautiful and natural with how to work with them to make beautiful and natural environment. And actually, you can say that most of them are blending with each other. And I discovered that this time using the grassland sand and the coastal dirt, it is actually better for you to first add the sand and then use the dirt, because actually when you can see that I first added the dirt and then started using sand, and of course it was too much of it. I had to go around add the sand and then rework that with the dirt again, so everything looks nice, green, and of course natural, because that amount of sand would be impossible. You can also see that I was adding those little rocky steps that not for the guest, that's our for the Archaeopteryx to go to these little beautiful plants. I think that they turn out really well just to drink water. And again, there are lots of cuts because I made actually all of those aviaries look the same. I didn't come up with a special theme over here. That it's just another piece from a dinosaur or prehistoric kingdom style of park. So yeah, again, just as always in those speedbuild episodes, because we don't have the series now on the channel, because the only one was the first ever series in the channel, the only one, Canada Lake Park. But I really think about adding more of the series in future, because that's really fun to build something big. And you can see me that I added those rocks all around the aviaries to I think justify why some of them are higher than another, and it looks more interesting to watch. And now I started building this little pond, so actually the space that left between all of those the entrance building and the aviaries is just a little bit more interesting, something to look at. Over here, adding this tree that I really like. Not this particular one. I added this one, and it turned out really well. I like it so much. Again, adding grass, bushes, everything looks nice and beautiful. And then proceed to add even more grass. Actually, I would like to count all of those grass pieces. Actually, it could be possible, but I don't have time for that right now, and it's not the task that would be particularly interesting anytime. And yeah. Coming back to the speedboat, because I like to run away from the topic. You can see me, I added this exit from the evacuation doors. I didn't add anything more because let's say that these doors are more used because keepers are getting food inside the aviaries for the birds with them. And that was the I cannot speak right now. I'm so sorry. That's the only way, the only doors that were actually in the place where you weren't able to get out from the aviary. So I decided to just add this little path with a little bit of story to it, just to justify why I did this little path. That turned out really well. And again, added those concrete steps with the railings all over the place, because that's really important also. And yes, right now I started with building something, the barricade from the bird zone. Actually, anytime you can go. you would go to the, I don't know, the place where the parrots, for example, are kept inside, you can see that you have to walk through actually this very specific door. I don't know how to call it in English, but you can see that in the recording. You probably have seen that in the door. It's actually really just the same as it was the PBC doors. I don't remember right now, but it was in Planet Zoo for for example, butterfly houses in Planet Zoo. So you should recognize that piece, which is incredible. And I built that over here. And of course, it's used in the places where you can actually go inside and see parrots from up close, which is always really, really interesting. Yeah, added some foliage all around, so everything is nice and clean, and adding the extension to the path. Of course, in this build, I also use, you can see the in-game prefab because of the lack of time, and the last touch is finally over here, adding the entry, the enter and exit sign, then adding the educational posts that turn off for some reason for the cinematics and the tour, but they are here, and also added this small ponds, small pots for the plants, so everything so the building it's not so empty inside. Actually, it's just a little bit more interesting. But now I will end the speed build part, and I will get to you in the mini tour of the entire build. So see you there. And here we are on the tour. You can see the correct version, the correct pronunciation, correct lettering of the Archaeopteryx. Of course, the second name could be Lithographica. I think, sorry for my pronunciation, I think I did that well. You can see, of course, that educational stuff is turned off for some reason. I couldn't turn that on. We are going to the bird zone by the railing, and we are hopping into the main aviary, maybe not the main, the first aviary, sorry for that, where you have this beautiful view to this pond and loads of Archaeopteryx. Every piece has 10 specimens, so there are a lot of them flying all around there. Sadly, they are not flying just above the lake so often. Uh, but so that's impossible, sadly, but we have to work with that. But still, it is incredible. Now we are going to this, actually that could be the longest tunnel to the second aviary, and over here you have to watch your steps because there is this pond just at the entrance, and I think that this part is just a little bit more lush, and it has this beautiful water feature. Again, our Archaeopteryx, and something to be different is this terrain elevation, and over here you could see another, let's say, exhibit post for the animals. Going down. The terrain is actually at the same level everywhere, so the camera is not just going extremely fast for some reason at some points, fortunately. And we have the third aviary, beautiful, going around, and yeah, this is my favorite actually. You can see now, right now. Oh, I had some trouble with the mouse, sorry for that. And yeah, you can see over here that they are jumping on this road, and that's just incredible. And yeah, we are hopping out of this third aviary to the no bird zone, and I hope you enjoyed. Stick around to the cinematics, and see you in the next episode. Have a good day, and goodbye.